President Trump's transition from his headquarters on Fifth Avenue to the Oval Office, along with his daughter Ivanka, has left his two sons, Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump, to run his business empire. His eldest son, Donald Jr., of course, played a prominent role in the campaign, controversially taking a meeting with a Russian lawyer who had promised damaging information about Hillary Clinton. But what about Eric? Well, a feature piece from City and States magazine's senior reporter, Frank Runyon, caught our eye this weekend. Frank happens to be a former prep school classmate of Eric's. The two have lost touch over the past couple of decades. But it was on a late-night subway ride just a couple of months ago that a somewhat surprising email came through on Frank's phone. It was Eric inviting him to Trump Tower for a candid on-the-record discussion. I'm pleased to welcome City and State's Frank Runyon to the programme. Frank, great to have you here. Someone, as I said, you've lost touch with the past couple of decades. You actually saw Eric about 5 years ago at a reunion where he interestingly said, "We need more friends like you in the media."
Yes, he did.
But this is someone, as I said, you've probably seen develop on TV over the past couple of years. Sitting down with him, meeting for him for the first time in quite some time, what surprised you the most about him? What was his most candid admission?
He was so generous with his time. We had about 3 hours to sit down and discuss, in addition to all these other interviews I had, so it really helped give a lot of texture and background to a person that's so frequently reduced to a soundbite. I think this comes across in the piece, but something he also told me is that he really tries to be humble, and that's something that he really works towards. But I guess the most surprising thing was that he was so thoughtful. When I was challenging him on some of these issues, you see him on TV firing back and forth with people. That was not at all my experience. He was really sort of really thinking about what it was that his classmates were saying.
Well, what impact do you think this political spotlight has had on him? What did you sense has changed about him over the past couple of years?
I think it's made him more defensive. You know, he was really sort of an open, laid-back personality, and I think that that's something that people have picked up on, classmates of his, that he has become somebody that really has his guard up a lot of the time. You know, it took me a little while to get through that myself. I even had to say, Eric, not everything's about your father. I'm actually interested in you. Tell me about like what you think and what are you, you know, what's your take on this?
Well, you didn't just stop with the interview itself. You tracked down about 24 former classmates and teachers of Eric. Speaking with those individuals, what was the most overwhelming sentiment when it came to looking at what Eric was like at school and what he's like now? What were the most common things people were saying to you?
The overarching sentiment was Eric has really changed. At least from what people can perceive, right? From his public appearances. And part of that is he's much more polished. He slicks his hair back now. He's even taller than we remember he was. But, you know, the other part of that is he has become certainly more, seems aggressive on air, that kind of thing. And that really took people back. That was something I was really interested in exploring to see if that is who he is now.
You mentioned aggressive. I mean, Eric played somewhat of a prominent role during the campaign. A number of TV interviews came to mind. One interview, he compared waterboarding to college hazing. Another, he said his sister Ivanka was too strong to subject herself to sexual harassment. But when you ran those sound bites by the people that knew him all those years ago, how do they react to those?
I think the overwhelming feeling was that's not the Eric I knew. At least the way in which he responded in those situations. And some people felt, you know, this is a product of just being on camera and he's doing the best that he can do. But other people really felt like, I'm not sure Eric believes that. And so that was something that I was really interested in drilling down on with him.
There's some wonderful anecdotes in your piece about what people remembered of Eric when he was at school. One nickname came to mind, the biggest mooch. Tell me about that.
Right. So I think without a doubt in our class, he came from the wealthiest family. And, but nevertheless, classmates remember having to buy him a movie ticket because he didn't have enough money. Or him standing at the doorway when, you know, the Chinese restaurant brought their famous French fries, which was a thing. You know, mooching off of them. So I think not necessarily he was mooching more than everybody else, but it was just that dichotomy between this is Eric Trump and he's you know, a little cash poor.
School is a time where you develop your skills, your abilities, your interests. Here's someone who's from a family where your future, your career is pretty much decided for you. But speaking with teachers, former classmates, did they get the sense that Eric was suited to a career in the corporate world, or did his skills lie elsewhere?
Well, I mean, everybody remembers that he was the most talented woodworker that they'd ever seen. And I think that was the overriding memory that people have of him. It wasn't that, now this is somebody that's going to be a titan of industry, or this is somebody that's a real entrepreneurial mind. It was, this is somebody that is taking tons of time to craft things out of wood and making these absolutely beautiful things. So, I mean, this certainly comes across, but some people were surprised and wondering if this is really where his heart lies.
His oldest brother, Donald Trump Jr., has been mentioned as a potential mayoral candidate. Ivanka is in the White House as we speak. Is there a political future there for Eric?
There's a political future there, but I'm not sure that Eric's interested in it at all. He has such a disdain for politics, and there's so much that it's cost him, he feels, that it may not be worth it.
It's a great read. Frank Runyon is a senior reporter for City and State magazine. Thank you so much for joining us, Frank.
My pleasure.